Hey, welcome back to another episode of Politics for the Culture. I'm your host, Senator Dwight Bullard. So happy to be here once again. Just a gentle reminder as we explore this new season of Politics for the Culture, peep the pen. You're going to see my lapel pins are going to subtly change periodically. This one of my favorites, Black Boy Joy. And part of the reason why I wanted to center Black Boy Joy on this episode is because one of the things that gives me joy is none other than hip hop culture, whether it be rap, whether it be graffiti, whether it be the DJ. Something about hip hop gives me joy. Hip hop, as we all know, or if you've been living under a rock, hip hop officially turned 50 years young this year. And so we're excited to really delve into a conversation about hip hop with one of my favorite DJs, the most magnificent and humble DJ on the planet, none other than DJ Self-Born. I want to welcome my fellow Aquarian, fellow February 4th kid to the show. Welcome, DJ Self-Born. Welcome to Politics for the Culture.
Peace, my brother. Thanks for having me.
No doubt about it. Well, again, as I mentioned, hip-hop turns 50. We're both still under 50.
Yes.
But that means that we've lived our entire lives with hip-hop, and of course, little historical context, why they're saying hip-hop is 50 is the flyer for Kool Herc's Back to School Jam was officially August 11th, 1973. And so that is kind of the seminal moment for hip hop that they identify as the day it begins. But of course, hip hop takes its elements from so many different places that we could easily talk about it going even further and further back. But would love to kind of start with, for somebody who grew up in Chicago, and we talk about hip hop beginning in the South Bronx. And I know for some people this is going to sound scary, but there was a time before the internet where people could not just stream music on platforms or share music on their mobile devices. For a kid growing up in Chicago, what was your first introduction to hip hop? Whether it was one of the other elements or rap music itself, for you, when did it crystallize for you that like, oh, hip hop is in Chicago and it's here to stay?
WHPK, it's a radio station. It was a college radio station in Chicago. And everybody, if you did hip hop and you were in Chicago, you came through WHPK. JP Chill is an old school DJ known for many, many years, and he would just be up there. It's a station that when an album will come out, they would literally play the whole album. And the reason it caught my ear is because it was uncensored, and I didn't understand how that was even possible. That was it. I never forget that, hearing NWA and hearing, just stuff. I was like, what are they saying on the radio? What is that? And then I was hooked.
I love it. So when we think about that first foray into hip hop, college radio station, is it safe to say, like you mentioned, like the what aspect of it, like hearing this explicit language being played, hearing these artists from different regions of the country, was it an immediate love at first sight moment or love at first listen moment? Or was it something where you kind of like it grew on you over time? Because as I'm sure we'll talk about more, you are a DJ, right? So like you now are prolific in your understanding of the musicology of it all, the beats, all the different contributions. Was it, again, love at first listen, or did the use of those beats catch your attention? How did it go from that first listen to this evolution of you becoming somebody who was a DJ?
So the first thing, and to keep the context, so it was a college radio station that I was listening to at, maybe 9, 10 years old, at very early age. So I think for like a lot of us, it was more first the shock of stuff. I mean, look at the marketing now, how things will go towards children just to really kind of shock. So like I said, hearing some of the language, hearing some of the stuff that was being said, that was spoken, not singing. So that was the very first thing. I can't say it was like love at first listen, but that love was the first shock. It was like, what is this? You know what I mean? Like, just like how the powers that be at the time were kind of like, what is this? It's going to be a fad. It's, it scared everybody and kind of shook up everything. So that was like the biggest, I think, first impression of being young, and then being able to understand something that kind of shook the world or shocked the world, if that makes sense. So it was like feeling a part of it. And again, we could talk about being Black in America. We're talking about literally, as a Black man in America, it's the only art form, business, anything that I saw myself in someone else create and own. So that in itself was just like, you know what I mean? Like the full, all dimensions of it. So hearing, seeing, relating, it was just like, wow, I got to be a part of this.
I feel that. And so, we talked on and touched on the kind of like key components, right? The graph artist, the break dancer, the DJ, the MC, as kind of the core components of what make up hip hop and hip hop culture. And here you are, a well-established DJ producer, somebody who is, going on the road with iconic hip hop artists like Special Ed and others. Most recently getting a chance to back up Brand Nubian and Grand Poobah during his stint here in Miami. And so for you, as somebody who's now, an established kind of element or component of the thing called hip hop, what for you made you say, all right, this is my lane? Like, again, there are 4 possible components. And I think anybody who grew up around hip hop tried to break dance once, or tried a can of spray paint to see if it worked, and realized this wasn't my thing.
Yes.
How did you go into the DJ lane?
So it's funny. So I tried it all. I spray painted on stuff. The statute of limitation. Yeah, we did. I spray painted on stuff and rode on a few trains and buses. And it's funny. And I'm in the city. I'm in my hometown right now. So I need to be kind of quiet because this is where I did all that. But tried to do some break dancing, and here it was a form of dancing called flexing. It was real big, and it was kind of a offshoot of like pop locking. So did that. Did the graffiti, did the break dancing. When I found DJing, it was something that clicked in terms of timing, because at the same time of hearing that radio station I was telling you about, I was just really listening to the radio a lot. I was mesmerized at this is so funny. It's so small, but it's so big. Anybody that understands timing and music, I was so mesmerized when I would listen to the radio station and I would hear them introduce, power, 103, whatever, da, 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 and they say the station, and they, call with the phrase that pays, or whatever they would say. I was mesmerized that they would know when to stop talking before the song would start, or before the words would come in. Now, mind you, I'm 9, 10 years old. I'm real young, and I was just wondering, like, how the hell do they know when to stop talking? And then that went on literally for about 3 or 4 years. It just really bugged me out. And so I found out and understood about 4 bars, 8 bars, just the timing in music. And so being fascinated with that, and started playing with records with friends, like literally a buddy of mine had turntables, and he would kind of let me play around, and seeing how all music universally is related and kind of has there's a universal timing to all music. And being a math guy, I was fascinated. So that made it where I was like, oh, this is something I could put my mind into. And it was a cerebral thing. And so I was all into it, like collecting the records, seeing what records match with who, what record matches what key, and Because you can notice you can have a DJ blend 2 records. You ever heard a DJ blend 2 records and they're blended correctly, but you're like, no, dude, that's not it, right? And then you'll hear a DJ blend 2 records, so you'll be like, oh my God, I had never even thought of that. There's so much going on behind the scenes, and so that type of stuff fascinates me. The infrastructure of enjoyment, if that even makes sense. You know what I mean?
No, that makes perfect sense. And as somebody who has, known you for a number of years, and would you say then that you're constantly perfecting your craft, or is it something where you feel it's sort of kind of becomes static, like all the basic components, and so you're good as a DJ? I mean, what's your take on that? Because and the reason I bring it up is because, of course, with technology, people feel as though they can be a DJ,
Yes.
with a laptop, some Serato,
Yep.
and they're off to the races.
Yes.
But you're somebody who started with vinyl.
Yes.
Had to learn. Technology evolves. So I guess it's a bit of a loaded question, but at this point, do you feel as though you're still in the process of learning? Or that you've kind of you at least know enough to be a solid or great DJ for the rest of your life?
So I'll try to relate to you maybe, and let me know if this is a stretch. I look at it like, first, I'm always going to be a student. I know what I know, so that allows me to be in the position that I'm in to maybe speak on certain matters or choose to do certain things. But again, tell me if I'm wrong. I look at it kind of like politics and kind of like the social environment, where just because you knew what was going on 20 years ago in the 90s, let's say, because you went to the Million Man March, does not mean your point is relevant right now or your viewpoint is relevant right now, right? So if you stop mentally, you stop, right? You stop. That kind of is probably a little bit of arrogance, right? Because I look at you and I know you. I feel like you're an eternal student, right? Because you studying people, studying the issues, and studying kind of what makes people tick. And I take music seriously like that, because I look at it as it's a language of what makes people tick, not just you gonna go have a drink.
Listen, you made it plain, and I appreciate that. I guess kind of, along those lines, looking at more on the production side, as you're now, helping develop other artists, helping to provide kind of what the future of hip hop looks like, in a world where, there used to be a time and place where you had to have your producer, your rapper or singer in the studio all together, grinding on the late night. Now it's like, I can send this beat, over the internet. You can do this at home. What, for good, bad, or indifferent, what do you see as the future of hip hop with all this new technology providing so many kind of opportunities that weren't there 50 years ago?
It's actually amazing. And I'll touch on a little bit of kind of this headspace I'm in. My team knows all about this. I tell everybody, I'm 17 right now. So we're 47, but I'm 17, meaning I've had to grow down in how I'm approaching doing music. You've been seeing me release music monthly, and that's deliberate in the spirit of, if I was 17 and I was in my bedroom and I wanted to make music the same way I was when I was 17 and I wanted to make music, how would I be doing it? And the difference is, and I get so excited about it, is because if I go back to 1993, if I go back 30 years, all of the stuff that I have right now, including this, it's the Jetsons. We literally have the Jetsons and the toys and so many things that allows our reach to be so much greater. And so that's where, you really gotta weigh the value of being able to reach a lot more people and really utilizing the tools you have. And you sacrifice a little bit of that, what you call it, a brick and mortar touching a person feel. And you got to be able to balance that out and not look at yesterday as always better than what tomorrow's going to be. That's an old person mentality, because, in my day, Now, mind you, I'm an old school DJ, right? So I love old school music, but I love the nostalgia and that feeling that it gives you because it reminds you of kind of growing up. And that was always my lane of just like grabbing you where you grew up. I don't know if I ever told you that. You know what I mean? Like literally.
Listen, we're learning things new on the show, and I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
So we're here on Politics for the Culture. I know we're blending this notion of politics and the culture. Recently read an article where Andre 3000 pointed out the fact that he actually wrote the song Prototype thinking about Janet Jackson, right? Like that was his ideal artist. He wanted it to be her song, but he decided, all right, since she's not picking it up, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So kind of in that thought process, as somebody who makes music, has been a DJ for artists live, is there an artist that you would either like your dream artist, dead or alive, that you have always wanted to work with? Yeah. And why? May like give us a little background as to like in your mind, in this musical mind that you have, why this person is that like that benchmark or that pinnacle for you.
And it's interesting how that works because hip hop kind of has multiple categories. So there's one lane where Jadakiss, that's my guy. I feel like Jadakiss and I have already hung out and recorded an album together. He just don't even know it yet. And on the R&B side, which that's a lane that I really, really, really respect. Man, her is amazing. Her, the artist, is just amazing, and that's somebody I know I'd be able to make amazing music with. Like I really dig her style, her approach to music. Man,
No, that's what's up. As a big fan of her, I'm here for it, and I can almost hear the Jadakiss over one of your beats thing happening. So let's manifest that. You know,
we
don't know where this episode could go. So Jadakiss, if you're out there, contact Politics for the Culture. Let's make it happen. Let's build. I'm here for that matter. If you're, randomly cross paths, I think, her guitar riffs, makes for a perfect combination.
Man.
So I know we've talked a lot about music, but there are also other elements to this thing called the culture. And so because we talk so much about music, kind of going to put you on the spot a little bit as somebody who has spent significant time in both Chicago and Miami. And the reason I asked this question is because for me, and shameless plug, yes, but also I realize I don't know what they put in their food, but when I go to other places for extended periods of time, I crave it when I'm there. And that's Pollo Tropical. Like I realize I can't spend a lot of time outside of Miami because I don't know what they do to their chicken. It's super stereotypical, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there.
That's funny.
They put it down and create a level of craving. So my question for you is, what is a Chicago food must have? And then for you, what is a Miami food must have for DJ Selfborn?
So you called the Chicago one, Harold's. I mean, the fact that you even know that. Think about that. Like you done. Harold's is it in Chicago. Miami, and it's so funny, man. And it's such a different world, right? Because like I love the spinach at Prime. I don't know how you feel about
I got it.
I feel like
a little hint of garlic. I feel you.
But Garcia's, man. Let's keep it a little real. Still with the people, man. A little bit more because everybody's not trying to go to Prime. It's just everybody's not trying to go to Prime.
Listen, a Garcia sausage, something about it. I don't know.
Well, the fish.
The thing about a Garcia sausage that's so funny is I don't know who's the Garcia that started it.
Right.
But it feels like you got to have a good Garcia sausage. So appreciate that, Self, for pointing that out. DJ Selfborn again.
Yes, sir.
The most magnificent and humble DJ on the planet. Now, in all seriousness, thank you for being on Politics for the Culture.
Man,
thank you for, being one of my tour guides through hip hop, I remember just quick anecdotal story. One of the first times we vibed when you were, spinning at the spoken word spots.
Yep.
And I just kept trying to challenge you on, records that you had, like you weren't already like a library within yourself of different music, but you just kept meeting me there. And also, for those of us who appreciated the time, we look at like the Obama administration as like this moment in time, but for those of us in Miami, love hate was a moment in time. And so for those who got a chance to experience you bringing us a vibe every Sunday with Classic Sundays of Love Hate, I just want to give you your flowers, give you your thank yous.
Thanks
for just being really tied to the culture, being a purveyor of the culture, and more importantly for coming on the show today. Appreciate you so much, my brother.
This is great. Can I make an announcement? Well, I was saving this for you. So, I've been off producing and all that, purposely chilling. So I'm actually about to come back and I'll just spin something. I'm literally going to announce it. Well, I'm announcing it now. So myself.
Listen, don't threaten me with a good time. I'm here for it, brother.
So Uncle Nearest and I are partnering on a monthly event. I'm calling it Whiskey and Blends. So Old Fashioned is my favorite drink. So basically a Beaker and Gray right in Wynwood. Thursday the 27th. Yeah, Thursday coming up, the 27th. 6 o'clock from 6 until 9. Uncle Nearest is going to be passing out whiskey, and I'm going to be DJing. I'm actually DJing in public. I will be spinning and doing my own little blend thing. I got a little surprise on the music side. So there you have it. I'm back out. Come through.
Sounds like a plan. I mean, shout out to Uncle Nearest.
Yes.
Black owned whiskey, black owned brown liquor. Yes. We out here producing, making it happen. And shout out to you, DJ Selfborn, for getting it popping. Appreciate you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to coming back, man.
No doubt.